I've always considered myself to be a big console fanboy. I really like the ease of use. Whether it was growing up with my original PlayStation or a Super Nintendo, I've always enjoyed the fact that you just put the disc in, you put the cartridge in, you turn it on, you pick up the controller, and you play it. Even in these later generations, stuff like the Xbox Series X or the Nintendo Switch, I love that seriously, you just turn it on, it plays. The updates are automatic, the button configurations are just done for you. It's so easy and so simplistic. And even though I do have a very good gaming PC, I've predominantly enjoyed playing stuff on consoles, even though now I can't afford to play what is objectively the better version of gaming. PC gaming is just better. The graphics are better, the additional options are better, honestly the customization is better, but I still preferred that console experience. But I decided to do something per your recommendation. Many subscribers have told me to be open-minded and try the Steam Deck. This thing is essentially Steam's own personal console. It's an ability to play games from your Steam library, PC games with the PC experience, but with designated buttons, auto configuration. In a lot of ways, this is the consolification of some of my favorite PC-only games. But I want to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly because I've been playing this thing pretty much non-stop for the last 10 days, and I want to give some thoughts from the console perspective on it. What's up gamers, DreamcastGuy here. Hi, hope you're having a great day. If you could like this video and subscribe if you haven't already. Now, I do want to do a quick thank you to the sponsor of this video, HelloFresh. This year my biggest goal has been to try and be more active, to be more healthy, and that's why I am incredibly happy to be partnering with HelloFresh. This is a special service that mails you some of the most delicious meals ever straight to your door. It is farm to table, it is fresh recipes, good ingredients, high quality materials, and best of all, very much easy to follow instructions. Every single week on the website, you can just pick from the different menus to see what fits your tastes or your particular diet. For if you're vegetarian or pescatarian or somebody like me that's just trying to eat as clean as possible, there's a lot of different options and all of them taste so good. Stuff like sweet apricot chicken, cheesy spinach, mushroom stromboli, or even something like what I'm making right here. This is cheese tortellini with fresh tomato pasta sauce. So yummy, so good, and now you can try this for yourself for incredibly cheap. Right now, HelloFresh is running a very special offer where the viewers of this video can type in this coupon code or click the link at the top of the description box. This will make it where you get 65% off your first order and free shipping. Literally everything on the menu is so good, it's something you gotta try it to believe it. Once again, type in this coupon code or click the description box link. Try it out, and I'll see you in the kitchen. But now, let's go back to the video, and once again, thank you to HelloFresh. Now, my biggest concern going into the Steam Deck was, how does it actually work? What is it about this that makes it so special and so different from the other, well, handhelds I have? I'm a big collector of portable gaming consoles, whether it is the Analog Pocket, my huge collection of original Game Boys, the PSP, the PlayStation Vita, the Game Gear. I feel like my biggest concern was honestly, how good is it going to feel in my hands? If this thing has every single game in the world, and they're all dirt cheap, but it feels clunky, I'm probably not going to enjoy it. Honestly, the Steam Deck does feel fantastic. It feels so ridiculously comfortable in the hand. Even playing it for hours and hours and hours, it's just kind of bizarre how quickly you adapt to these shoulder buttons, to these very nice triggers. It's a very form-fitting system, despite its rather massive size. For the most part, this video is going to be positive. I do think it's important to acknowledge the fact that this thing is a boat. It is huge. Keep in mind I do have slightly smaller hands than the average adult male, but even saying that, this thing is definitely a big old beefy boy, even comparing it to something like the Nintendo Switch. But for that very increased size, you're getting such a big step up in power. Now, I bought the 256 gigabyte internal storage version. This is basically the middle of the road. There's a increased mega big hard drive version of the Steam Deck, and then there's a tiny hard drive version. I wanted to try and get the one that was dead in the middle. I waited to buy this until you could just purchase them on the website. Steam at this point has managed to backlog enough of them that if you just say, hey, I want one, they'll mail you one now. So super duper. This thing did cost me, I think, almost $600, or was it $500? I'll put the price on screen here. It was definitely a very expensive thing, but for this much higher price tag, you're getting a very surprisingly good graphical experience. This is definitely what blew me away the most, is just the raw processing power and the graphical capability of the Steam Deck. Like, I want to just show you a bunch of gameplay here because really it cannot be overstated how gorgeous this is. I wanted specifically to test stuff that was big, that was flashy, things that's already kind of impresses people specifically because of the graphics, like Spider-Man on PlayStation 4. Obviously, this came to PC recently. I bought it, I've played it, I've been swinging around as Peter Parker, and it looks gorgeous. I mean, the frame rate is pretty steady. Occasionally, there would be these teeny tiny hitches. The most interesting part about the Steam Deck is that it is still a portable PC. When you're playing these games, they look good by default, but you can choose to turn up graphical options up or down. So if you're somebody that prefers ray tracing, if you're somebody that's less focused on 60 frames a second, there is a lot of little tinkering you can do to really personalize the experience. Or if you're somebody like me that really enjoys the classic games, you guys know this, but I'm completely obsessed with old school Final Fantasy. I put all the pixel remasters directly on my Steam Deck and they look fantastic. The second you boot these games up, it just says on the screen, hey, this is Steam Deck compatible, so all the buttons, everything is automatic, and the games look great. But I do want to talk a bit more about this power setting option. This has got to be one of the weirdest features about it. From a console gamer perspective, this took a little bit of getting used to, just the fact that it's even an option. So if you're playing a game like Scorn, obviously I do not like this game, but the graphics are objectively good. The art is good. The blasting people looks very, very flashy. Well, whenever you want, you can press this little 3-dot button and it brings up a special menu that lets you turn up or turn down specific parts of the processor and stuff. You can actually tinker with the output. So if you're playing a game, you can purposely lower the output to make it where the game honestly will sap your battery less. This unfortunately comes at a heavy cost of performance, obviously, right? So if you turn down the graphical capabilities, it makes it where the games will run incredibly choppy. I mean, this right here is running at like 4 or 5 frames a second, but this is also an important feature because it can dramatically extend the battery life. By turning down the output, it makes it where you can, have a game that isn't incredibly demanding like Vampire Survivors, a game personally that I'm very addicted to right now. I can choose to turn down the volume, turn down the graphics, turn down the processing power, turn down the screen brightness, and really up the battery life significantly. Now, this does bring me to the biggest downside to the Steam Deck, which is definitely, holy heck, does this thing just suck out battery life. Being able to have next-gen graphics on a tablet, essentially the way it looks visually, is just impressive. But you're going to have to pay the price of very short battery life. If you're playing games that are big or open world, or a lot of times stuff that is on the PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X, like Elden Ring, these games will look good. They will play fantastic, but they're going to suck your battery dry in about 2 hours. And that's even if you're using minimum brightness. If you choose to really max everything out and turn up the graphics, some of these games would completely drain me from a full charge down to 0 in about 1 hour. Now, this, in my opinion, is a pretty big flaw, because if you're trying to treat this as a mobile gaming experience, it does feel like there's certain games you just can't play. Graphically, a lot of this stuff looks truly jaw-dropping. I mean, I'm so incredibly impressed about the ability to see something like Resident Evil 2 Remake. This is a rock-solid 60 frames a second. It's visually so dang impressive, and, I mean, as fun as it is it does drain your battery. It sucks you off here in, usually about 90 minutes. Now, I'm somebody that really does enjoy playing my handhelds on the go. I don't have a car, so a lot of times if I'm going to a party or I go to a doctor's appointment or something, I'm typically sitting in an Uber, and that's when I would usually bring my analog pocket or a Game Boy or something to kind of distract me besides just staring out the window and realizing that I have to die someday. So that's why now I would like to bring something like that, but if it's going to be a decent trip, I just feel like this is not the most, long-lasting idea of entertainment. It's definitely the kind of handheld that typically, for the most part, I think people are going to enjoy around the house. But that being said, the biggest benefit to this is still just the fact that it is definitely a PC handheld. It has got all the perks and benefits of PC gaming. You can mod games. My roommate actually writes all sorts of mods. He recodes Elden Ring to rework how the blood effects and magic and stuff works. And it's cool that I can install his version of Elden Ring on this and play it from start to finish. People have coded in the additional content to Chrono Trigger from the DS game onto Steam. You can just download it, you can play it. It's insane to me. This Steam Deck can even be converted into desktop mode. When you just press the button, it makes it run and work just like a personal, tiny, portable computer. That means you really can just install and tinker with all sorts of different weird programs, including emulators, which I'm not going to show in this video. I have tested some stuff. Honestly, pretty much everything you would want out of it works exceedingly well because it is just such a powerful, tiny supercomputer. It's cool that it has all these extra options, these extra customizable doodads to make it where it does feel like it manages to combine the perfect aspects of PC gaming and the perfect aspects of console gaming and the ease of use, and pushes it together to become something that is very, very easy to figure out even for a dummy like me. The major downside of it as it currently exists is that a lot of games still are not compatible. A lot of stuff requires a keyboard and mouse, and so since you're installing it from Steam, when you actually open up the store page or the library area, you can see which games are optimized or already made for Steam Deck. If something is in any way not compatible, it will say specifically what the problems are, like the button prompts are not accurate, or hey, this requires a keyboard and mouse, or the font is going to be incredibly tiny. Now, a lot of these warnings, most of them are not game breaking, but some are. Recently, I tried to play this card game called Wild Frost, and I played it for like 10 minutes and I was having a good time, and then it asked me to right click. I was tapping the screen to simulate like the mouse, but I could not figure out how to right click. So straight up, even though I wanted to play this game on the Steam Deck, it's impossible unless I sync something external in Bluetooth. Anytime you do want to sync a Bluetooth controller, whether it is an Xbox controller, Nintendo Switch, PS5, whatever you want, super easy to just sync it and play it. I definitely have tested it. A lot of this gameplay here is me setting the console down and then just syncing and playing it so that it's a nice stable shot. I like that that's so accessible. It's of course possible to sync a Bluetooth keyboard or something if you're trying to do more specific programmery, hackery stuff on this. But even as it stands, I have to say, I am so deeply and incredibly impressed. I love the Steam Deck. My loyalty to PlayStation as a console, I play mostly stuff on PlayStation, has been the trophy system. I love having this big scoreboard that keeps going up every time I get another platinum. I will say this directly on camera right now. If they end up making some sort of PlayStation launcher where I can buy PlayStation games on PC and still keep getting trophies, because I do love getting trophies a lot, I'm going to make this my main system. I'm going to be playing every single thing I can. I'm going to be grinding out RPGs. I'm going to be conquering Persona games. I'm going to be doing everything on my Steam Deck because it is legit that freaking good. But these have just been some thoughts. What do you think about the Steam Deck? Are you excited for it? Do you have one already? Tell me your thoughts in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this video, give it a big old thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. But do me the biggest favor of all, and keep dreaming. Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.